I recently looked at the difference between a slammed and aggressive position on the bike versus a comfortable position and how it affected my cycling. But how about we take it a step further and we look at how they affect our run off the bike?
Yeah, so some of us spend hours trying to perfect that position on the bike, trying to go faster and be more aerodynamic. But when you add the run into the mix, suddenly there's a lot more to consider.
Yeah, so this has brought us to Team Bath, where one of us is going to be put through our paces by head physiologist Jonathan Robinson. We're going to see how different bike positions affect our efficiency when we run off the bike. Heads. Ooh. Right, so I get to talk through what Heather is about to do. So you may remember from my comfort versus aero video, I did 3 runs on the bike, one in a nice relaxed and comfortable position, one in a slammed and aggressive position, then another somewhere in between. So Heather is going to kind of replicate that. She's going to do 3 runs in each of the positions. She's going to hold her half Ironman intensity, around 180 watts for each of the runs. But after each of the bikes, she's going to run off for 5 minutes at a half Ironman run pace, which is around a 1:30 half marathon split, which equates to around 14 kilometers an hour. So she's essentially doing 3 mini brick sessions. And we're going to record her heart rate, her perceived exertion, we're going to record oxygen consumption and even lactate. And then to make things fair, we're going to take a nice long break between each of the runs, around 30 minutes. She'll have a break, have a drink and just relax. Okay, Heather's coming to the end of her warm-up. Jonathan's stepped in, he's ready to start the test with Heather. She's starting on the in-between position between comfort and aggressive, which is actually quite close to her normal position. She's doing that for 10 minutes and then running off for 5 minutes. Good luck, Heather.
Okay, so I've done the first run at my usual aero position. I've now slammed my stem. I'm just doing the warm-up, ready for round 2.
This is great. Keep it up, Heather. Great work. Obviously, these results are only specific to Heather. Everyone has different makeups, different flexibility, and there's so many other things we could change in terms of the bike position, but this is still going to give us really good food for thought. Right, whilst I've been chilling out, Heather's done 2 tests already. Well done, Heather, great work. She's on the most relaxed and comfortable position now, so she's got the handlebars as high as they will go, which, as we found in our field test out on the road, this was the slowest position, but it's possibly the more preferred position by a lot of athletes due to flexibility and whatnot. And actually, if you're doing an Ironman, you're going to be spending a long time in the saddle, so this might be the more comfortable position for you. So it's going to be really interesting to see Heather's results when it comes to running off. Right, great work, Heather. I really lucked in with the coin toss there. That looked like hard work. How did it feel then?
Well, to start with, I was surprised on the first one, which is my normal position. I actually got a stitch on the run and I was like, oh no, where's this going? But I think that was probably just a bit of an abnormality. And I mean, as the feel goes, the aggressive, I didn't ever feel tight hip flexors, but it felt slightly harder work, both on the cycle and then the run. The comfort one felt really nice on the bike, but it didn't really change how I felt on the run, but maybe it was the last one, so.
Okay, well, should we take a look at the results?
Yeah, I think we should, and it's actually quite interesting here. So I mean, what jumps out at me is the fact that the heart rate on the run was much higher on the aggressive position, and it was a little bit higher on the bike as well compared to.
So your lowest heart rate was on your middle position, your normal position, and then the comfort sort of sat somewhere between the two. And then how about if we look at?
And it crosses over to the lactate actually.
Yeah, so pretty much mirrors that on the lactate. And then if we look at your VO2 score, so this is quite interesting. Yeah, so it follows the same path. So essentially what happens here is your VO2 score is higher on the more aggressive run, which for a lot of people, the higher VO2 sounds like a better thing, but actually for the same effort, your VO2 is higher, meaning you're slightly more inefficient.
So I'm running at the same pace, but I mean, it's a little bit on the bike, you notice it, but the most significant is on the run. And what I find fascinating actually is it was similar to the comfort to start with. So when I started the run, my heart rate was fairly similar, and then the comfort dropped off later on, but I'm not doing anything different on the run. I'm running at the same pace, but it's like the residual effect of cycling in that aggressive position seems to have done something. And I did comfort last, so if anything, you thought that might have stayed up.
Yeah, and I mean, this doesn't look like much on the graph, but it is relatively significant. And actually, you're only doing this for 10 minutes on the bike, 5-minute run off. So if imagine this over a whole triathlon, an Olympic distance, half Ironman, Ironman, that could be really, really quite significant as well. And obviously there is, the order that we did it in.
Yeah.
We had to choose a way, an order we do it in, and I do think the fact that your heart rate and your lactate dropped off on your final run still shows quite conclusively that the aggressive was clearly harder.
But I want to know why it doesn't drop off, because I mean I only did 10 minutes on the bike, and I was surprised that we did find anything as significant as we did, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I think this, as we've said already, this is very specific to you. Everyone is different in terms of flexibility and just the length of the triathlon that you might be doing, but still really good food for thought.
I mean, and that said, I didn't notice my hip flexors feeling any tighter from the aggressive position, which I thought I might, but I think in the future we're going to have to do it as a longer test, and I think you're going to have to do it next time.
I think, and actually look at some more variables like crank lengths, saddle positions. There's so much more we can look at.
If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more from GTN, then you can click on the globe to subscribe. Now, previously, Mark and I both did a test looking at how our cycling cadence affected our runoff. You can see that video just here.
That was a hard test as well. Well, if you also want to see the Aero versus comfort test that I did out in Lanzarote, which we've been referring to during this video, just click down here.